highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
WGNS.
Hi, my name is Diane Davenport. There are many reasons why I love Adams Place. People are so friendly. You're never in the hallways, but what you meet someone who says, "Hi, how are you?" Everyone is very warm and welcoming. It's very nice. Adams Place, it is a wonderful place to live.
This is Terry Deal. Come tour Adams Place and discover living a dream in your senior years. Adams Place, on Memorial across from Walmart. Call us at 615-904-9111.
Hey, neighbor, when you talk, others listen. If it's on Good Neighbor Talk, keep it here. WGNS, AM, FM, online. We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable. WGNS, I'm Andy Herzier, founder, executive director of First Shot Foundation. I welcome in Jeff Murphy, who when I first met you, you had a football uniform on, dating a beautiful young lady named Scarlett. And then as it moved forward, I've got to know you through your children coming to First Shot Basketball. But football player to restaurant, why? Let the audience know. And here's the other beauty for Jeff Murphy. He loves Murfreesboro.
I do.
And he is a locally owned restaurant that we as citizens should support wholeheartedly. So there's my plug for you, because if you have not eaten there, it is grade A quality sandwiches. It's off the chart good. Appreciate that, Andy. Yeah, I mean, moved to Murfreesboro in 2010. Coach Stock offered me a scholarship to come play quarterback, and obviously on my visit, actually, before I signed the dotted line, is when I met Scarlett and Anne Marie, for that matter, and ended up coming here, and the rest is kind of history. We got married and have 3 beautiful sons, and decided to bring the family business, Domenico's Italian Deli, which was started in Alameda, California by my grandparents. And then when they retired, my parents took it over. So I grew up in it. I was down there doing dishes, cleaning tables, shucking peppers, rolling meatballs, all the things that, full circle, now my boys are getting the opportunity to do here. But we opened, January of 2020, right before COVID, on the square, right next to Holden's Hardware, the best hardware store in town. And, man, it was a rough first year, but now we're in year 5 and rocking and rolling, and just been extremely blessed, with the family support that we have and the community. Because I truly believe in if we were in a different town, I'm not sure we would have made it. Startups are extremely difficult to make and make work. And in an environment where your customers essentially go away, just the ties I had at MTSU and with Coach Stock and those guys, and the community that the Lanning family, has had around them, being here forever. Everybody was just so gracious and came out and supported us, and now we're rocking and rolling, and hopefully got some big things on the horizon. No, you do have some big things on the horizon. We won't mention them yet, but talk a little bit more about the connection between you and Coach Stock. I listened to you kind of one day, us sitting in your restaurant with another alum, talking to, and you let him know right away that you love Stock. I do. I owe so much to that man. And, I get a little bit emotional just because I owe so much to him. I owe so much to this university that, I wouldn't have the business that I have in Murfreesboro. I wouldn't have the customers. I wouldn't have met my wife, my children, like all the things that are so important to me. That opportunity came from that man, and just can't thank him enough. So any opportunity I get to let people know that, like, I feel like I should. And it's another reason why I love the Blue Raiders, and for all the things that are going on over there. So, a lot of people have great things to say, some people not so much. It's like, they're my school. I bleed blue. I'm not going to support anybody else because I owe so much to them. All I want to do is put on for them and try and, you know, tell people about what's going on, because there is a lot of great stuff, and it's a great university, and so many graduates in Middle Tennessee are former Blue Raiders, and it's for me it's easy to support them.
Well, I think you're a rarity in athletes. I think that you know the bond. A lot of people don't like their school that they played for. They feel like they've been done wrong, and you know, it's good to hear the other side. It's good to hear that that you want to talk about the positives, because I think it's so easy to go negative.
It is.
So let's talk about then, and we're going to get into your podcast, which I think is one of the most awesome things, because when you play like you and I did in a non-Power 5 conference, we were the little guys. We were always the underdog. We're going to get to that. But tell us what you see as the positives in the athletic department as a whole, maybe, the university, what you see is going on over there that's really, really positive right now that you can get behind and the community should get behind.
Well, I just think that if you look at the last several years, the investment, you know, and I've been pretty critical of the university. You know, if you're going to have athletics specifically, like, you need to invest in them. And I feel like over the last couple of years that they've actually been able to do that. And you know, my wife being a professor, she's an engineering professor there. You see investment in the academic side as well. I mean, a beautiful new engineering building over there. There's a bunch of buildings being built over there, which you need. I mean, this is you know, universities, they kind of fall in this category a lot of times of not being a business. But at the end of the day, they are. The business principles that make, you know, a local business here successful, the same things apply to a university. And when you don't get that, things fall behind. And one of the biggest things about business is you have to invest. You have to see the future and have a plan for it. May not be the right plan, but at least you have one, and you try and execute that plan. And at least over the last 3 to 5 years, from an investment standpoint, I feel like the university has anteed up. Obviously, you saw the new athletic building that's built. Beautiful building, top of the ones I've seen. I've been to over, you know, 25 group of 5 programs in the country. I mean, we're in the top 5. Now, that's going to pay dividends in 2, 3, 5 years, even more so than you have now, because they literally just got in there a month ago. But I think that's a huge positive. And then I feel like you're getting a lot of, you know, former players kind of getting back engaged. You know, good friend of mine, Benny Cunningham, you know, he's been to a lot of stuff recently. You know, talk about my brother-in-law, Bryce Brents, who, you know, played for the Red Sox, played baseball at Middles, now the hitting coach for softball. I mean, the Instills have been a mainstay for basketball. I mean, you have the pieces, and we talk about Rutherford County, we talk about Murfreesboro, how fast it's growing. Like, it has all the hallmarks and the ability to be, and I'm just going to use it as a football reference, like the potential to be a Boise State 10, 15 years down the road. We just got to have leadership and a plan in place and execute that plan. I hope we're seeing the beginnings of it.
Well, I think not only do you have to have the plan in place, you got to be able to sell the plan.
No doubt.
And I think that's the number one thing they've got to do going forward. Because you're right, they have invested in new facilities, and even more, there's another renovation going to go on with the Murphy Center when that starts. That, you know, and that building is still, to me, I mean, a beautiful building and
historic.
You know, and historic. And I get what they're trying to do. You know, so it's more than just graduations place for Rutherford County. It's more than just a basketball arena, so that they can get other things to go in there. So they run it like a business and make money.
Well, I mean, you look for years, you walk around that building, and there's pictures of all these great concerts that were going on in there. And I don't know why at one point it ended up stopping. I've heard talk about trying to get the Murphy Center, you know, upgraded so they can they can have, artists and bands. And I mean, MT has one of the best film and music programs, in the Southeast. It's like we have so many artists that have graduated from middle that are big time country artists now or hip hop artists. It's like you have a great venue like that. I'm hoping that's in the plans. I've heard it talked about before of getting back to having shows and concerts or comedy shows. Like, it's a great venue. It's centralized downtown Murfreesboro. You got parking. You can do all the things. I think that's what part of the upgrade hopefully is for that, and I think that'd be awesome.
So, married, 3 children. Talk about how that and being in a restaurant, because my dad was originally a restaurant owner. When he had us, he got out of the restaurant business because he said it was too much to have 3 boys, which you have.
I do.
Right? And they're athletic. I mean, just they can't help but to be because of you and Scarlett. So talk about how you balance all of this.
It takes a village, no doubt. And, Mike and Gina are amazing, my in-laws, and, help take the kids to practice one day. Because like I said, we have 3 boys. They all play sports. And we're going, yesterday we were in Tullahoma for Nico's baseball tournament. This upcoming weekend, I'm going to be out of town traveling down to Tulane to go watch Duke and cover that game. Both Dominic and Nico got baseball tournaments. So, just blessed to have an amazing family, and we all support each other and, take a kid to practice if we need to, or hang on to my niece and nephew if we have to. And I think that's just what it's all about, right? Is having family and community and caring about one another. And you can't do it alone. You just can't. There's so many things with their sports, and obviously running a restaurant is a full-time gig, and I learned it from my grandparents and parents. And then getting to see Mike and Gina, who own Rick's Barbecue in town, I worked for them for several years, and Anne Marie, my sister-in-law, runs that store. Natalie works there as well. So it's like this big family restaurant, sports, kind of conglomerate where we're all just pitching in and helping, where we can, and we love doing it, and we love serving the community, because ultimately, serving other people is what we're called to do. And have an amazing family, and couldn't do it without them.
So you talk about growing up in California. What are some of the differences you're seeing for your sons growing up here in Middle Tennessee versus California?
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up in California, it was a very different place for sure. But what I love about where I grew up in Alameda is it's literally an island in the East Bay, and it's like you have this very small town feel and this huge area with millions of people. And when I got to Murfreesboro, especially, which is why I kind of love the square, just being downtown, I got very similar feel to that. And it's like, man, I'd love to, if I ended up staying here one day, I'd love to have a store down here. And it just reminded me of Park Street, growing up, and Webster Street, where Domenico's, the original location, is now. It just kind of has that small town, hometown feel. So raising my 3 boys here that, they go to campus school, and my youngest is at St. Rose. And it's just this big downtown community that has supported us in the business. And it's simply just amazing. And, having 3 boys that are athletic and that want to play sports. And I mean, Murfreesboro is just such a great city to raise children in. And you have some of the most competitive, kid sports leagues. And now that travel ball is a big thing. That's one thing that wasn't big when I was growing up. And it seems like, everywhere now has AAU basketball or travel baseball or football. So, but I love that it's competitive, and you have some amazing youth coaches. And just like First Shot, my boys have been going there since they could dribble a ball. And you guys just do an incredible job, and tying faith into it is super important for us. So we love it.
Well, again, I don't get to do First Shot if you and Scarlett don't help. You guys are amazing. Not only with your own kids, but investing in other kids. What sets your restaurant apart from other sandwich chain? There's so many of them. There's one, seems like to me, on every corner. and we're a society of convenience.
Yeah.
Why should someone come to the square, and what sets you apart?
I mean, I can only speak on what we do, and the from the original location in Alameda to the second location in Murfreesboro, on the square. It's quality. It's treating, not only the customers but our employees, like family. We genuinely care about the people that walk in the door. And, we just had all of our employees out at our house yesterday, kind of a thank you to them. One of our employees is leaving us. Hopefully he comes back if the opportunity presents itself. But he's moving, out of Murfreesboro, and our love for them and care about them. We want them to succeed, not just in our business, but in their life. And we try and be vessels for them to do that, whether it's advice or needing some type of help outside of that. And I truly feel like our investment into our employees, we genuinely care about them, and they feel that, so they in turn put that work back into the customer and the product. And we've just been so blessed to have literally the most amazing staff I could possibly ask for. And because if it's not for them, I told them last night, I couldn't be the husband and father that I am, and I owe that that to my employees, and I can't thank them enough. I wish I could all pay them $1 million a piece and do a moving, but yeah, they are an integral part to this business, and couldn't be more thankful for them.
Yeah, and they're a part of our community.
Absolutely. They go to MTSU, or some of them, are in high school down here, and I've had kids from Riverdale, Central Magnet, all schools over the community, and we just have some amazing youth in this area, and just blessed to have them.
Well, again, if you've not gone down to the square, to Domenico's, you got to go try it. It is, again, every time I go in there, I come out going, I think it just got better.
I appreciate that.
But we're going to shift gears a little bit. Playing football and the quarterback at middle, what was that like? What was that, always thought a point guard and a quarterback were a lot alike, but the quarterback gets hit a whole lot more than I ever got hit. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a different mentality. And that's what I want you to talk. What is the mentality sitting back there knowing that you're going to get popped about every other time?
I think the mentality is, again, it comes back to, I think the great ones serve the people around them, and they're able to get the most out of their offensive linemen or their receivers or their running backs. Like, you have to be able to take all the responsibility. Sometimes it may not be your fault, but it just comes back to leadership. Can you lead a group of people and maximize them for the greater good of the team? And the great ones are able to do that. I threw plenty of interceptions and plenty of bad footballs, but I threw some good ones too, and they were dropped. It's like, hey man, I threw it a little low. I'll get you next time. It's like, you kind of got to be a psychiatrist, but make sure that you're on top of your physical game and mental game, and understanding what the defense is doing, and understanding what you're trying to do, and making sure that everything is on time and in the right place. And it's exactly what a point guard does. It's like, I wasn't the greatest athlete. I didn't have the strongest arm, but I was pretty smart, and I could be on time, and I could get the ball to my athletes at the right time and let them do the rest of it, because they make us look good. And the offensive lineman the same. Like, it's football is one of the greatest sports, ultimate team sports, in my opinion, because you literally have people's physical well-being in your hands. And especially as a quarterback, like, if I make the wrong read and I throw a late post over the middle and he gets his head knocked off, that's not his fault for dropping the ball. That's me, because I threw a ball where it shouldn't have gone. So that weighs heavy. An offensive lineman, if he goes inside when he should block the end and then comes clean and I get my block knocked off, like, everybody has their teammates' well-being in their hands, and if you don't do your job, somebody could get seriously hurt.
Well, again, I used to think that basketball point guards were smarter than quarterbacks, but more I'm around quarterbacks, I think you guys had a whole lot more on your plate than we did as point guards. So again, I appreciate that answer. That's as good as I've ever seen it. Let's kind of shift. You said off air you have a different take on what most people, which I think is a very easy way to just go negative, on the state of middle football. I thought they came out and played their tails off Saturday. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a really, it just looked like they got worn out at the end. But I thought they gave a great performance.
I did.
Your take?
I did too. And let's back it up to the Austin Peay weekend, right? I know there's a lot of hype. It's the opening game of the season. But after that game, I told a lot of people, I was like, look, we didn't come out and definitely didn't look our best. But it's one game, it's the opener. And what I think a lot of people don't understand, and it's just the day and age that we're in. I call it the Amazon Prime era. I want to be able to hit the button, and I want it right now. Instant gratification. It's going to show up at my door tomorrow. But that's
or
not,
sooner.
Yeah. But that's not how sports work, and that's not how seasons work, and how the NCAA has even further cut down camp practice time. You can't even have 2 days anymore. You have one full padded practice and a walkthrough in the afternoon. That's it. And now that they've cut the roster sizes down, you're down to 105. Like, you can't afford key injuries anymore because you don't have the depth that you had, especially at the group of 5 level. So your first live bullets are week 1 or week 0. And it wasn't just middle. You saw teams across the country that didn't look very good. But then in week 2 and week 3 as you go, I want to see improvement. And I thought from week 1 against Austin Peay, who, by the way, paid a lot of money for their quarterback who was in the SEC.
By the way, who grew up in First Shot, Chris Parsons.
Grew up in First Shot, shout out. And went down to Georgia. Halftime, it was 14-6. Georgia ended up winning 28-6, but played Georgia, who was ranked, I think, number 4 in the country. Very, very tough. So I don't think we gave enough credit, number 1, to Austin Peay. And then you look at the way we came out against Wisconsin. Love the energy. The energy was there. That was one thing that I was a little disappointed. It was the effort. But you saw it against Wisconsin. Our offense looked better. We had big plays down the field, which I love to see, with Najee Cox, and Nick Vadiato played a lot better. And you just saw glimpses of, okay, this is the team I thought we were going to see in week 1, going up against a very physical Wisconsin team, where in the third quarter you come out, get the ball. You had like a 6 or 7 minute drive. Great drive. You're burning clock. You're down by 4. You get the questionable review call on 4th down.
Very questionable.
Very questionable. But you're going to get that on the road,
yeah.
Especially going against a Big Ten opponent, right? So after that, you didn't get it, and then you tried to run up the middle, didn't get that. All the momentum flipped, and then at that point, I think you just saw they just lean on you. You got 300-pounders on both sides of the ball. We got banged up in week 1 as well, so I think our depth just wasn't there. But I'm hopeful. We go, to Nevada this week. Nevada struggled against Sac State a week ago, or this past Saturday. They got a lot of new pieces as well. And then Marshall lost to Missouri State, who we'll have in week 4. So everything we still want is right in front of us. I hear a lot of people on Twitter and YouTube, like, it's easy to bash. They lost against Austin Peay. I get it. But maybe there's a few other things that we're just not looking at. And we're so quick to say, this team is terrible. They lost to Austin Peay. Well, you just got to look at the totality of things, and you want to win conference. All that is still right in front of you. You improve from week 1 to week 2. Now let's improve even more into week 3.
So my next question, we're going to kind of go back to Chris Parsons. All right?
Yeah.
They paid a lot of money to get him. Where does that young man, you guys, your group of 5 are out evaluating talent. Where does he fit to you? His size does hurt him.
As always, but we've seen kids across the country. Look at Diego Pavia for Vanderbilt, New Mexico State transfer. Like, we covered him his entire time there. So, it's hard to, in this day and age, look at a guy solely based off of his size. You got to watch the film and watch the tape and look at Chris's tape. The kid is dynamic. He can throw it. He can run it. And anytime you have a dual threat quarterback that is effective in both the pass and the run, he is a nightmare for defenses. Pavia did it. Parker Navarro at Ohio just beat West Virginia this past Saturday. Same type of kid. So he was worth that. Credit to the coaching staff at Austin Peay for seeing that talent and going and paying a premium for him. But it's paying dividends. You saw that in 2 weeks already.
All right, we're going to take a break and be right back with Jeff Murphy.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big G TV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big G TV, where radio comes to life.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by America Pest Control, Old National Bank, and the law offices of John Day.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
For almost 79 years, WGNS has been keeping you informed. We still do. Thanks for tuning in. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Please give the gift of life. Phone the Red Cross at 800-RED-CROSS. And make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Another big event this Saturday and Sunday, the 35th Annual White Oak Craft Fair. That's at the Arts Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. The White Oak Craft Fair, this Saturday and Sunday. And the 23rd Annual Wings of Freedom Fish Fry is Saturday. That's a must-attend event. It's over at the Azure Flight Support Hangar at the Smyrna Airport this Saturday. The gates open at 4 in the afternoon and the event is from 5 until 9. And it's presented by the Smyrna Rotary Club. And a night of remembering Casey Clark. Saturday, September 20th, 6 o'clock in the evening at the Smith Fork District Association. Remembering the guitar man, Casey Clark. September 20th at the Smith Fork District Association. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
High temperatures reaching up into the lower 80s for this afternoon with mostly sunny skies. Clear and calm tonight, lows in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Michael Carroll for the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Currently 56 degrees.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network. WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports. This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable, WGNS. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot. Chance for my shameless plug. Jeff gave me the okay to do this on September 24th, 6 to 9 at the Oakland Mansion. We have the Autumn with the Alley. It's a spirit tasting, wine tasting, cigar sampling, and food from the alley. It's $100 a person. And for more information, you can go to wgns.com. You can click on the link there for it, or you can give me a call at 615-631-5312. And we'd appreciate your support. It all stays right here in Murfreesboro, helping local kids. So, Jeff, welcome back in. We're going to switch the script a little bit. Why did you start this podcast? Well, I mean, I love it because of where I played. I wish someone would do it for basketball.
Maybe we need to look into basketball once football season gets over. But me and my one of my best friends, Matt Sprouse, who also an MTSU alum, and there were Zeke Anderson and Jesse Grisham and Tyler Tipton at the time. We all were at MT together, and when we got done playing, Jesse and Matt sitting around was like, you know what? And we all kind of thought this when we were playing. ESPN, Fox, CBS, they talk about the same 5 to 6 schools throughout the country. It's all they talk about. And then every once in a while, MTSU beat Georgia Tech today, whatever. And here's a 30-second clip of it. We're like, well, why don't we start a social media page? They started it, and then I came on shortly after they kind of got that going, and we started doing a show and started traveling around the country. And what we found was that we weren't the only ones that wanted to hear about their team and their conference at a more in-depth level. So our podcast is called the Group of Five Guys Podcast, kind of a little bit of a play on word. There were 5 at the time. Now it's just me and Sprouse continuing to move forward with this thing. But we travel the country. We talk to head coaches, administrators, presidents of different universities. And a lot of it at the beginning was we wanted to go out and see what successful schools were doing and potentially bring some of that information back to our alma mater. And then what we found was the fans of those schools really like the content. So we've just kind of little by little each year started adding more and more and covering, more of like the fine details of college football, NIL, transfer portal, all these different aspects. And, we cover the American Conference, Conference USA, Mountain West, the MAC, and the Sun Belt. Those are the 5 conferences that we cover. We just feel like, the mainstream sports media refuses to cover them. So here we are traveling, covering games, previewing games every week during the season. And it's been fun. We've really enjoyed it.
Well, I think it's necessary. But I think you can probably even ask Brian off air is that time is why ESPN and them, there's a finite number of minutes that they can cover everything. With that being said, preview the Mountain West for us and the 3 or 4 players we should be watching.
Yeah, obviously Boise State last year with Ashton Genty, going to the Fiesta Bowl, first Group of 5 representative, played very well against Penn State. We were at that game. They lost to South Florida in week 1, and everybody again was all up in arms. Oh, Boise State's not good. It's like, okay, well then you see what South Florida did against Florida this past weekend. So it's like, okay, well maybe Boise's not terrible. It's like, no, they're not. They're returning so much production on both sides of the ball. Maddox Madsen was the quarterback last year. Chris Marshall's a big receiver on the outside. They got a stable of running backs again. So Boise State is, to me, they're the standard bearer of the Group of 5. Like year in and year out, they always compete. They have the marquee wins in their program history. Obviously, the Oklahoma State Statue of Liberty Fiesta Bowl win was huge years ago. UNLV is really good. They're 3-0. Dan Mullen came out of the booth to come and coach them. Great.
Was he left with a lot? Because that guy went to Purdue.
He went to Purdue, and he took quite a bit. But, Dan Mullen being in the booth and then just being in college football before that, you still talk to all the people, you've talked to for years, recruiting-wise. So he was able to get a lot of, Power 4 guys that, either didn't make it on their rosters or weren't playing to come over to UNLV. And Anthony Calandria from Virginia was a quarterback that split time last year, but has come in at UNLV and just absolutely lit it up with his arm and his legs. So he's been great. And Hawaii looks great too. They're 2-1, and got a ton of talent at the receiver position. I mean, they just are fun to watch. They run that run and shoot. Timmy Chang's their head coach, who was a former quarterback there. So the Mountain West is always deep. They're always good, and one of the best Group of 5 conferences in the country.
So when you look at them, what does that conference do different than Conference USA?
I think it's been tough for Conference USA a little bit because a lot of their top programs over the years, have left for conferences, quite frankly, with bigger media deals. And that's what a lot of the NIL and the rev share and all these things are being driven by, is the TV money. So when you get a lot of your teams to leave for the American Conference, which is also one of the best Group of 5 conferences in the country, like, they're leaving because their schools are going to be making millions and millions of more dollars per school in TV revenue. And you hate that's the reason why, but that is the reason why. And continuity with your bigger programs, finding a way to keep them is important. But I do think, with Delaware coming in, Missouri State coming in, and then having MTSU and Western Kentucky is a great program, and kind of
Liberty.
And Liberty being a steady force. If Conference USA can keep some continuity over the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, there's no reason why they can't continue to grow and do kind of what the Sun Belt did, where they brought in App State and Georgia Southern, some FCS great programs that have continued to grow and continue to invest in them. And it's like you look at Jack State. They're a really good team. They came in right away and playing well, and then beat Liberty on Saturday. So it just takes time. Everybody wants it right away, and I understand
we're
that.
a microwave society for sure, Jeff.
Yeah.
I mean, so you look at the American Conference. I mean, it's got to me, it in the Mountain West sniff being a Power 4. Or am I wrong?
No,
Is there a big separation?
See, and that's kind of our whole mantra too. Is, look, there's 5 to 7 teams every single year, and they typically rotate in and out 1 or 2 that are just when it comes to football, that are just physically different than everybody else. Last year was Ohio State. They were just different.
Well, they paid $35 million for that.
No question, and they have the ability to do that. But on the field, you have those 5 to 7 teams every single year that are just different. They're better and bigger than everybody else. But everybody else below that, I don't think the line is that far off than what people think. And you saw it this weekend. UNLV beat UCLA. Ohio beat West Virginia. Army beat Kansas State. South Florida beat Florida. And you have it every year in the non-conference slate. And no offense to SEC and Big Ten and Big 12 ACC, like, the bottom half of those conferences for years have rode off the top of Alabama, Georgia here and there, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Florida State. Like, outside of those, like, that's everybody else has been riding their coattails. And Alabama's record against everybody over the last 20 years is ridiculous. But that's everybody. That's not just the Group of 5. That's the entirety of college football. So I get upset when people are like, oh, well, Middle Tennessee's not playing the same game as Tennessee. Well, it's like, okay, that's fine, but let's settle it on the field. Let's not just give paper champions because you were saying Tennessee was great last year, but what happened when they played Ohio State? I think they lost by the biggest deficit of anybody in the playoffs. So my point is, let's play the game. Let's settle on the field and not just give these arbitrary preseason rankings where 5's beating 1 and 7's beating 2, but they all kind of stay there at the top throughout the entire year because they're beating each other. But it's like, the only reason why those are considered quality wins is because a bunch of people sitting in a room who really don't assess the talent and watch the film just stick with the same brands at the top, so they're beating each other. It's just a shuffle of the top 15, 20 teams.
Well, I think you're going to see that more, and I think the shift's already happened in basketball, Jeff, is that the Power Fours have been told not to play the quad 2, the quad 3s. You can play the quad 4s, right? But play the quad 1s. Play each other.
Yep.
That way we stay up top. And that's the way we keep 2 years ago, the Indiana States, who was a really good basketball team, out of the tournament.
Exactly.
So it's sad to me, but money always drives it. So when you assess these the 5 conferences, who has the most likeness money? American, Mountain West. Where does Conference USA fit compared to the Sun Belt, compared to all these other leagues that you're evaluating, the MAC?
Well, when it comes to rev share, right? I mean, the American and the Mountain West have probably the biggest when it comes to the group of 5. Now, a lot of the Mountain West are going over to the new Pac 8 or whatever they're going to call it. Which it's funny, now it's the Power 4 because the Pac-12's not involved or whatever you want to call it. These are arbitrary terms. And that's why we kind of coined the group of 5. It's like, we're going to own it and we're going to beat you with it, like regardless of what our title is. So the Mountain West is kind of going to split. All these teams are going to be jumping around, and the coaches and admin that we talk to around the country, like everybody sees kind of the same thing. You got the top 20 to 30 revenue generating programs in the country look like they want to go and do their own thing and be almost like a semi-pro model, quite frankly, so they can hoard the vast revenue generating dollars amongst themselves and they don't have to split it with anybody else. Well, 20 to 30 programs, last time I checked, there's like 140 something, Division I programs. So that leaves everybody else. That leaves the bottom of the Big 12, bottom of the ACC, bottom of the SEC, bottom of the Big 10. Where are they going to go? I think everything will eventually getting reshuffled, and we'll see some type of remnants of the old college football, a little bit regional rivalries, which I think is great for the sport. And we'll see some type of homage to the past, but you got to have a governing body that knows where they want to go and get there, and not be in litigation every 2 years and scared to do anything because they're going to get sued and lose.
Well, when you say that to me, I look at it, how are you going to leave out and they probably will because it's all greed, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
How can you have a league of 30, even call it? You're leaving out a lot of good teams.
Tons.
I mean, I'd be amazed if it's not 60 to 80.
It just comes down to the more teams you have, the more those schools have to split that bottom dollar, that TV money. And of course, I don't have a crystal ball. This is just what I think with the information that I've gathered. But if you've looked over the last couple of years of where it just kind of seems like it's heading that way. And you brought up such a great point of these, Ohio State and these other, like they'll go play Akron, they'll go play Kent State. But they're not scheduling Boise.
But let's just be honest. In the Big Ten, relevant teams that can win it, there's 3.
That's it.
Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, that can win a national championship.
Yeah.
In the ACC, who's relevant that can win it?
This year, I mean, you wouldn't have said Florida State before they beat Alabama in the opener, but Florida State and Miami and Clemson.
But has that been consistent?
No. The ACC, not really. Clemson, for the most part, for I would say the lion's share of the last 15, 20 years. But last few years, I mean, I don't know if the ACC's really had one that could compete.
That's my whole point. So now who are you taking out of that conference? You're going to have to – that other – you just left off.
I know.
Well, Oregon, you may have to now put in. I kind of tend to forget that Oregon's in the Big Ten.
I know.
Because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
You got to put Oregon in there. They could win one.
What's the brands? That's what they want, because the brands drive viewership. They drive sales of all the things. So you look just out of the ACC, they would take Clemson. They'd take Florida State. Miami, probably just because of their brand recognition, have been a pretty good basketball team throughout the years as well. Oregon, USC. I don't think Cal makes that cut. I don't think UCLA makes that cut. Big Ten, Purdue's not going to make that cut. Boston College isn't going to make that cut. They're going for the top revenue-generating brands. Doesn't necessarily mean they have have been good in the last 20 years, but they know when Clemson plays, Alabama, or Clemson plays Ohio State or something, they're going to get eyeballs on that game, which is TV revenue, that's what's all driving this stuff. It's all what it is money.
Well, we're going to take our final break and be back with Jeff Murphy.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Get ready for an unforgettable night and support First Shot. Autumn at the Alley is coming to Oakland's Mansion Tuesday, September 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. Sip on fine bourbon, wine, and spirits, enjoy premium cigars, and feast on incredible food from the Alley on Main, all while enjoying live music under the stars. Proceeds benefit First Shot's Academic All-Stars and Send the Kid to Camp programs. Find out more on their Facebook page and through Eventbrite. Autumn at the Alley, September 24th.
Big savings are headed your way, Murfreesboro. America's Thrift Stores is opening a new location at 1030 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Get ready for a clean and organized shopping experience where you'll find up to 70% off name brand clothes and so much more. And the best part, thousands of new items hit the floor every single day. It's like walking into a brand new store every time you visit, all thanks to generous local donations. Visit americasthrift.com/Murfreesboro to learn more.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
This is Hannah Bleem here at the Rutherford County Farmers Market. This year, the Farmers Market is celebrating 50 years of being open, and we're here to talk to different vendors today.
Hello, this is Mike Vaughn of Vaughn's Bermuda Farm in White County, and we come to the Rutherford County Farmers Market, and we sell 100% grass-fed Angus beef, no grains, steroids, antibiotics, or additional hormones. This is Mike Vaughn of Vaughn's Bermuda Farm in White County, and we sell 100% grass-fed Angus beef, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you so much. The Rutherford County Farmers Market is open on Tuesdays and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 315 John R. Rice Boulevard in Murfreesboro until October 31st. This year, the Farmers Market is celebrating 50 years of being open. This is Hannah Bleem here at the Rutherford County Farmers Market.
This is Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into Rutherford Roundtable and Jeff Murphy. Jeff, man, you have so much passion for this, and it's really good to see, because it's going to be needed as we go forward to have a voice being sounded across the country that these 5 conferences are relevant. And again, going back, why do you think they're so relevant? What gives you that vision and mission to go out and passionately sell this, Jeff?
Well, I think it's just being a former player and not getting any coverage and seeing the greats that I played with that unless they were an NFL All-Pro like Kevin Byard, like they're not really getting covered. And, I mean, just look at Tennessee's starting quarterback and wide receiver, Joey Aguilar, App State transfer, Chris Brazzell, Tulane transfer. Like, they're all over the country. And the media won't tell you that. You know, they tried to say Joey Aguilar was a UCLA transfer. He didn't play down for him. So I think just giving these players and these coaches, quite frankly, that the love that they deserve is important because they don't get enough of it. You see Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer in the NFL that are group of five guys. And, you know, Josh Allen last night lit it up. Wyoming. Like, they're everywhere. May not be to the number that the SEC and all these other schools have as far as volume. But, man, when you get a quality player, it doesn't matter what school they went to, just turn on the tape and you'll be able to tell. And we just want to highlight those guys and think there's a market for it. We love it, and we found that a lot of other people like it too. So, who knows? Hopefully we could one day do this thing full time and make sandwiches on the side.
Top 5 teams in football of what you're covering. Start with 5.
This year, right now, going after this past weekend, I'm going to say South Florida, number 1. Tulane would be number 2. Navy, the midshipmen, will be number 3. I'm going to say James Madison, number 4. Number 5, that could go a lot of different ways. UNLV's looking pretty good. Texas State looks really good. I'm sure I'm missing one off the top of my head, so I apologize. But, yeah, I'd say that's your pretty good rounded out top 5. We'll put out our top 25 today.
So Army just goes and beats K-State. Where do they
I think we have them ranked in the top 25. They lost to Tarleton State in week 1, so that was a rough outing to start. But then you bounce back. Jeff Monken's done a great job of next man up mentality. Got a couple guys banged up in week 1. Start their backup quarterback, and he wills them to a win.
So now you look at the midshipmen, which I always you know follow because my older cousin is a naval grad. So why are they so high up?
They just have a lot of returning production. Blake Horvath is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Should be a dark horse Heisman candidate. They won't ever put him in that conversation. Just like last year, Army's quarterback had the number 1 rusher in the country, had all the stats in the world, and didn't even get invited to New York because he plays for Army. But Blake Horvath's great. Eli Heidenreich's a great running back, kind of wing guy, receiver. They beat UAB on Saturday, so they're 2-0. Very favorable schedule this year, just the way it shook out for them in the American. And they're a great team, one to look out for. They play Notre Dame kind of mid to late of the year. That'll be a fun one.
So I look at it. After 2 weeks, let's look at each conference. The American. You just said South Florida. Rank them. Top 3, 4.
I'm going to say in the American, I'm going to go. The American's deep. South Florida number 1. I'd go Tulane number 2. Probably Navy number 3, and then I think UTSA is really good. Even though they lost to Texas State, they're a really good program.
Now let's go Mountain West.
I mean, you got to go. I would say I'm going to give UNLV the number 1 spot, but them and Boise are the top 2 teams probably in that conference. Hawaii is a dark horse. They could contend and win it. Fresno State's look really good with a first-year head coach, too, from North Dakota State.
All right. Next up, Sun Belt.
James Madison should have beat Louisville on Friday night. Trying to run it. They have 2 quarterbacks that can both play. I've never been a fan of a 2-quarterback system, and it sort of bit them in that game, but they're really good defensively. I'm going to go James Madison, probably number 1. I'm going to go Texas State, number 2. And then the Sun Belt's another deep conference. Every year they kind of beat up on each other, and then the team that you didn't expect will be kind of hanging around trying to make a championship game.
So the MAC.
Toledo. Toledo is top to bottom, offense, defense, probably one of the best teams in the group of 5. played Kentucky extremely tight in week 1, beat all the way up on Western Kentucky, who's very good on Saturday. So I'm going to go Toledo number 1, Ohio number 2.
They just beat West Virginia?
Mm-hmm. Ohio did, yeah, and they should have beat Rutgers in week 1.
Wow. So another very good power group of 5.
Yeah.
All right, Conference USA.
Man, I got to go Jack State. They just beat Liberty on Saturday, and Liberty doesn't play MTSU or Western Kentucky the rest of the year, just the way the schedule shook out. So that was a big win for Jack State. I'll go Jack State. I'll still say Liberty probably number 2, or Western Kentucky, Liberty kind of 2 and 3.
And where do
MTSU dark horse.
Is that just your heart talking,
a little bit,
or your or really your intelligence? No, I have
a hard time. That's probably a little bit of heart, but no. Here's the thing with MTSU, and as I said, and I'll be brief on it because we already talked about them. Have everything you want still in front of you, and based off of the last.
When you say that, explain that to our listeners. Everything's in front of them. That's such a coach term.
It is, but it's so true. Your goal is to win conference. Like that is your number one. The number one goal is to make the college football playoff. That's your number one goal. But the goal right below it is to win conference. And you haven't played a conference game yet. You won't until after you play Marshall. You play 2 new teams that moved up from the FCS ranks. Both good programs. Not going to be easy pushovers, but you have the talent on that roster. I truly believe, especially outside at the wide receiver, at the running back position, you got a senior-led quarterback who's thrown for 3,000 yards 2 years in a row. Like Nick Vaudiato is a good quarterback. Just give him some time, a little bit of a run game, but they got to put it all together. But when you look at their schedule, they avoid Liberty, who again is one of the top teams in the conference. So you don't play them. You got to play Western Kentucky. But that's at the end of the year, towards the end of the season, which is good for us. So you look better against Nevada, get a win there, get homecoming with Marshall at home. You're 2-2 rolling in a conference, a little bit of momentum. Dark horse. That's all I'm saying. Dark horse.
That is really, truly you bleed blue, and I love it. And, I wish we'd see a whole lot more of that in our community. Our granddaughter's back dancing. That's why you'll see us out there.
Yeah.
And I'll wear my blue. But I look at this thing and I go, how does this thing, if it goes to 30, how does it not blow up college athletics?
I mean, it will to a certain point. And you've already said it, like money's driving all this movement. It's why all the teams are hopping from one conference to another conference. Like trying to get above the cut line almost is what it feels like to me. It's going to change it. I hate it because what made college sports so great were the regional rivalries and the, amateurism part of it and people playing hard for the school that they love and you still got a scholarship and still got fed and all these things. And I'm all for players making money. I think they deserve that opportunity. But to go from, where as I said a minute ago, I couldn't take a cheeseburger while I was on scholarship too. You know what? Just do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want at any point throughout the year. Like the NCAA, I think, has just mismanaged that whole situation, and they've lost so many court cases that they really can't put anything in place anymore as far as regulations because, it's just going to get sued again. Yeah. So at some point, I wish all the group of 5 would get together and be like, strength in numbers. This is what we're going to do moving forward. And the people that want to get a part of it, we can get a bigger media deal together. We can get the schools that are going to get left out of that cut to come in and kind of reshuffle everything into regionality because there's no reason why Stanford volleyball has to go across the country to the East Coast or wherever they're going now to play Boston College on a Wednesday night. Like that, it works for football because that's your number one revenue generating sport. What does it do for all the other sports that are so great? And those kids and their school schedules and all the things, it's a mess.
Well, they're not student athletes anymore. Let's just be honest. They're athletes that sometimes go to school, and that's where it's what they've done to it. But man, we're gonna have to have you back on
anytime
because we didn't even get to the real meat and crust. So maybe by the end of when we're going into that final 2 weeks, come back in, Jeff, talk the 5 conferences are, who's looking good, and get a feel for maybe bowl games from you.
Sounds great. I appreciate you having me on, Andy.
Thanks for coming.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Subscribe to Big G TV, local content that matters to Rutherford County.